Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. In this video, we will decode the latest filing from Venerable Variable Insurance Trust. And let's just say they've got a lot of funds to manage. What exactly are these funds doing and how is that translating to dollars and cents for the company and more importantly, their investors? Before we get into the weeds, if you like decoding complex financial information, make sure you subscribe. And hey, join our Discord community linked in the description for more exclusive content. All right, let's start with the Venerable High Yield Fund. For the period ending June 30, 2025, their net assets stood at a respectively thousands of dollars. That means they're managing over $500 million, pretty significant. Now, for Class I shares, they saw a net investment income of $0.30 per share for this period. That's a decent return, and for Class V shares, it's also $0.30 per share. Here's something interesting though, for Class V shares, their gross expenses were 1.09%, but net expenses after some adjustments were 7.2%. This shows the company is actively managing its costs. You might wonder why gross and net are different. That usually means they're absorbing some costs, which is good for investors. Moving on to the Venerable Large Cap Index Fund, and this one is much larger, managing a whopping $3,265,545,000 in net assets. That's over $3 billion. For Class V shares, the total return from investment operations was $0.64 per share. Not bad at all, especially considering their massive asset base. Interestingly, their portfolio turnover rate is 18%. This isn't super high, meaning they're not actively buying and selling stocks at a crazy pace, which can sometimes indicate a more stable investment strategy. Next up is the Venerable Moderate Allocation Fund. This fund is also substantial with $2,245,156,000 in net assets, so over $2 billion. For Class V shares, the net investment income was $0.18 per share, pretty solid. Their net assets are reported at a vast $2,245,146,000. Let's pivot to the Venerable Strategic Bond Fund. This fund is managing $1,706,626,000, which is about $1.7 billion. For Class I shares, the net investment income was $0.220 per share, and for Class V shares, it was $0.19 per share. Now, here's a key difference. Their portfolio turnover rate is a very high 60%. This means they are actively buying and selling a significant portion of their holdings, which can lead to higher trading costs, but also potentially higher returns if managed well. Finally, let's look at the Venerable US Large Cap Strategic Equity Fund. This is their largest fund with a massive $3,558,975,000 in net assets. That's over $3.5 billion. For Class I shares, the net investment income was $0.04 per share, and for Class V shares, it was $0.03 per share. These are lower than some of the other funds, which might be expected given the focus on strategic equity. The total return from investment operations for Class I shares was a healthy $0.67 per share. Their net expenses were 0.73% for Class I and 0.86% for Class V. These are on the higher side, but the company seems to manage them well to deliver returns. Looking at the overall performance for this fund, they recorded a net realized and unrealized gain loss of a significant negative $27,593,000. This is a notable figure and suggests the strategy may have faced some headwinds during this period. Now wrapping it all up, Venerable Variable Insurance Trust operates a diverse set of funds, each with its own strategy and performance. The larger funds, like the Large Cap Index Fund and the US Large Cap Strategic Equity Fund, are managing billions, which is quite impressive. However, we see some strategic differences, like the very high turnover in the Strategic Bond Fund, which can be a double-edged sword. The High Yield Fund and Strategic Bond Fund are particularly interesting from a cost perspective, with their net expenses being higher, but the returns need to be assessed in that context. My take is that while these funds are managing significant assets, the varying strategies and expense ratios suggest a diversified approach not just in investments, but also in how they manage costs and generate returns. We need to watch how these strategies play out over longer periods, especially considering the higher turnover and expense ratios in some of the funds. It's a complex operation, and investors should really dig into the specific fund's prospectus to understand what aligns with their own goals. Alright, that's our breakdown of Venerable Variable Insurance Trust's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Did any specific fund catch your eye? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives like this. And don't forget to join our Discord linked in the description for more real-time insights and discussions. Thanks for watching. See you next time.